So, what was it, a year or two ago? I had done a series of videos on DNA among the Amish and also Amish surnames being tied to Jewish surnames. I went through the Holocaust Memorial and I searched through all the names that I could find among the Amish and matched them with names, surnames, of those who lost their lives in the Holocaust. The Jews who lost their lives in the Holocaust. And later on, I did a video about how I went and took a DNA test on Ancestry.com, used the cheapest method, which will also garner the least amount of results, by the way, which I did not know at the time. It was something new to me. And what I had found, or what they, Ancestry.com, claimed that I was 100% European. So when I went and looked through my cousins, and there were many of my former Amish cousins who took DNA tests for the very same reason I did, wanting to find out something. What was it that they were looking for? Well, as I explained before, there are many Amish parents that quietly tell their children that they are Jews. My dad did this. Two of my uncles did this. And it's well known among the Amish. They don't talk about it amongst each other, only with their children. And of course, if they are approached by the outside world and asked, "Are you Jewish?" they say, "No, we are German." Okay? Now, I also am going to point out the fact that the Amish, the old order Amish, they're not allowed to sing songs like the world sings songs. The only singing that they do, as far as I know, my dad might call me up after this video and tell me that I'm incorrect about this, but the songs in church, so to speak, is typically about their persecutions in Europe. How they were murdered and all this other sort of thing in Europe. And so, with that in mind, and knowing that there are some among the Amish now who skirt the Ordung, or the rules, so to speak, the order, and now have cell phones. Now, do they have smartphones? I do not know. I know that among the Mennonites, even among the Mennonites who can drive around and so on and so forth, the adults only use the internet for emails, and that's it. I know this because I recently spoke to some who recently moved into the community. But, well, here's what I'm getting at. On Ancestry.com, when I looked through my the first and second cousins, the ones who did their DNA tests, it was like about close to 2/3 of them, very close to 2/3 of them, showed Ashkenazim Jewish ancestry. Some of them more, some of them less. They didn't show a percentage, though. Or the percentage was very minuscule. And of course, as you got into the third and fourth and fifth cousins, showed even less. So I was not satisfied. I did some research, and I had found that there are some DNA websites that actually do a little bit more work. But I also found out that the more money you pay for your DNA research, the more markers they use, which means the more accurate their, how do I put this, their estimate, that's the term that they use, more accurate their estimate is going to be because they're using more markers. And me being the cheapskate that I am, I just simply wasn't going to pay that much money and was going to use the notion that other DNA websites had pointed out that if a good chunk of your ancestors or your cousins have Jewish ancestry, chances are you do too. I was going to be satisfied and happy with that, but for some reason I kept looking around, and I finally settled upon FamilyTreeDNA.com, and I decided that I was going to go ahead and try them because they do something that many of the other DNA websites do not do, and it is track the paternal as well. As the previous one, the one on Ancestry.com, they did the chromosomal DNA, which is an admixture of both the parents. But what I asked Family Tree DNA to do is do both the autosomal DNA, which is the chromosome, the 22 chromosomes, but I also wanted them to do the paternal. And I sent in my kit probably 3 weeks ago, and I already got some results back. It really shocked me because I was expecting it to be June or July to get results back. But the results that I got back was from the autosomal DNA sample. I mean, the autosomal method, if you will. And which means we have not got to the paternal part yet. But what I see here partly does not surprise me, but partly surprises me. Here's what I mean. What I mean is this. I was told by a young Israeli woman, that all of the surnames, maiden names, that are in my family tree are Ashkenazi Jew. That's what they are. That's what she told me. And when I looked at my cousins on Ancestry.com, their Jewish ancestry was Ashkenazi Jew. Or their limited Jewish ancestry. So, I'm looking at it right now under my origins. It says 95 European, 95% European, and it says 5% Jewish diaspora. I'm like, okay, I had long suspected that. I mean, my dad told me this, so this is no surprise to me. But the surprise came when I clicked Jewish diaspora. Sephardic. What? Sephardic? How is that possible? Sephardic. Well, that I sure did a double take on that. Because I know that all the surnames and maiden names, as far as I know, be it the Schwarry, which came from Schwartz, or the Kaufmans, or the Beilers, which is the same as a Weiler or a Wheeler or a Beale. It's the same name, Baylor. Or whether it be the Zooks, like Zuckerman, they're all Ashkenazi Jewish names. So where does the 5% Sephardic come from? Well, the only thing I can think of is I'm not saying there's nothing on my dad's side, but the only connection that I have, the only thing that gets my attention is that I believe it was either Dan Byler or Amos. Dan Byler, Amos Byler, or Moses Byler. Their names are up on, it's not, it's, the whole world can know about this. It's not hard to, I'm not exposing anybody's privacy when I say this, but my point is, on my mother's side of the family, there were some who lived in North Africa via Spain or via the Iberian Peninsula. In other words, Jews who lived in Morocco. And during the Spanish Inquisition, let me remind everyone that the Christians treated the Jews worse than the Muslims did. Which is why many Jews ended up in Morocco. Some even ended up in Egypt, escaping Spain. Some ended up back in Syria. In fact, there were Schwarries that ended up back in Syria. Jews. With my last name. So, this is a message to all the Amish folks. I'm asking you to, those that are around the Amish folks, to, if you know any of them, show them this video. Let them know who I am. My mom and dad came out of the Amish. They know, the Amish know who my mom and dad are. And also to the government in Israel, I know that there are those among you who are concerned about the diaspora, those who were forcibly converted. And it is my opinion, I will be able to prove it one day. It is my opinion that the Amish were Jews who were forcibly converted by the Roman persecutors. And proof of that is that the Amish do not have the image of the beast. Yes, I did say that, image of the beast, hanging up on the ceiling, graven image of Zeus or Jesus. They don't have that. They don't walk around with crosses. That should tell you Jews something. So, I will get more information as FTDNA brings it back to me, and I will keep everyone informed. to me, I was extremely excited about it yesterday, and I couldn't wait to do this video. Very happy about it. Which, of course, I knew this all along. My parents, my dad was not lying to me, and there you have it, folks. Spread the word.